Imagine walking into your favorite neighborhood cafe, sipping on a latte, completely unaware that just behind the counter, a high-stakes world of secrets is unfolding. What if I told you that the Italian Mafia is not a relic of old movies? It's thriving right now in New York City, hidden in plain sight. But how are they pulling it off in 2025, and why haven't you heard more about it? Stick around, because by the end of this, you'll see just how close this shadowy empire might be to your everyday life, and you won't believe the twists that keep it alive. Let's dive in. Who would suspect a quaint cafe in a quiet suburb of serving up more than just coffee and gelato? From May 2012, right up until January of this year, this spot was allegedly a front for something far more thrilling. Illegal poker games, orchestrated by one of New York's most notorious crime families. But what exactly was happening back there, and who was involved? Picture this. Everyday folks from Lindenhurst, New York, an ordinary town where people commute to the city for work, slipping into the back room. Some might have been chasing a thrill to escape the daily grind, others nursing a gambling habit they couldn't shake. To the casual observer, it looked innocent, a group of guys shuffling cards over drinks. But peel back the layers, and you'll uncover a web that's far from casual. Why did they choose this spot, and how did it stay under the radar for so long? This wasn't an isolated incident. Venture out to Merrick on Long Island, and you'd find a shoe repair shop that seemed utterly mundane. Yet 3 nights a week, the back rooms buzzed with clandestine poker sessions. Then there's the Central Calcio Italian Club, a place that on the surface hosted community events, fostering cultural ties. But what lurked inside? Another cleverly disguised hub for illegal bets. These aren't just random spots, they're strategic choices. Why here in these unassuming locations? Because they blend seamlessly into suburbia, making it harder for outsiders to spot the action. But who are the players pulling the strings? Meet a cast of characters straight out of a thriller. Middle-aged and elderly men with nicknames like Joe Fish, Sal the Shoemaker, Joe Box, and Little Anthony. These aren't fictional. They're real figures linked to the Genovese crime family, one of New York's 5 major mafia clans. Currently out on bail, they're fighting charges tied to organized crime. But here's where it gets intriguing. The mafia today does not resemble the gun-toting gangsters of yesteryear. Gone are the days of ruling the streets with overt violence. Now they're masters of subtlety, crunching numbers on spreadsheets rather than cracking skulls. How did this transformation happen, and what does it mean for their operations? To unravel this, consider their grip on unions, a cornerstone of their power. Who controls these? The mob has deep roots in certain New York locals, especially in construction and labor. Try muscling in without their nod, and you might find yourself in hot water. Why unions? They're a steady cash flow, their bread and butter, as insiders call it. Organized crime's influence here is active and unyielding, ensuring loyalty through a mix of fear and favor. Curious about the real inner workings? I spoke with an ex-NYPD officer who's seen it all from both sides. He painted a vivid picture of how the mafia embeds itself in everyday society. What do people misunderstand most? It's not all glamour and hits, it's calculated business. Social clubs, for instance. Cozy spots where deals brew alongside card games. Picture Joker poker machines humming in the corner, slot-like devices that pay out through the bartender. Why these clubs? They're neutral ground for business, blending leisure with illegality. But these are just fragments of a grander scheme. At the heart of it all is a meticulously structured organization, the 5 families. Who are they? The Genovese, Gambino, Lucchese, Bonanno, and Colombo clans have dominated New York's underworld since the early 20th century. How does the hierarchy work? It starts at the top with the boss, the ultimate authority, calling shots from afar. Below, the underboss, a trusted second-in-command. Then come the capos, captains overseeing crews of soldiers. These soldiers handle the grit, running gambling ops, drug trafficking, and historically, enforcements that kept rivals in check. Associates hover on the edges, aiding without full membership. Why this structure? It insulates the leaders, letting profits flow up while risks stay low. The top brass stays clean, reaping rewards as the lower ranks hustle for a shot at ascension. Numbers tell a story too. At their peak, the Gambinos boasted around 1,500 members. The Genovese may be 1,000 or so, but here's a pivotal shift. To dodge FBI infiltration and informants, they closed the books, halting new inductions. When did this happen? Rampant crackdowns in the 70s and 80s forced their hand. Fewer members meant fewer leaks. Why close ranks? Growth invited betrayal. Secrecy ensured survival. This pivot steered them from flashy rackets to discreet white-collar crimes. No more public spectacles. They operate in shadows, legitimizing fronts. But why the emphasis on privacy? It's not just evasion, it's self-preservation. In our digital age, shielding identity is crucial. Speaking of which, ever wonder who's harvesting your personal data without a whisper? Data brokers lurk online, compiling dossiers on you. Birth dates, addresses, even habits. Why should you care? Scammers exploit this for identity theft, faking accounts or loans in your name. That's where services like Delete Me step in. Submit your info, and their experts scour sites, removing your traces. Within days, you get a report on what's been scrubbed, with ongoing quarterly checks. Curious? Check the link below for 20% off. Secure your privacy and support content like this. Back to the Mafia. Their revenue streams are as diverse as they are cunning. One standout? Loan sharking. What is it? Lending cash at exorbitant rates to those banks shun. Imagine borrowing $10,000 from a bank at 8% annual interest, $800 yearly. With the mob, 10% weekly, that's $1,000 a week. Miss a payment? Debt balloons to $11,000, interest $1,100 next week. It snowballs relentlessly. Who borrows like this? Not just the desperate. Gamblers chasing losses, business owners needing quick cash for payroll, even entrepreneurs banks dismiss. Take a guy with a bread route, contracts lined up, but banks laugh at his casual vibe. Mobsters, knowing his rep, front the million. Why them? They see potential where suits see risk. Not always shady, sometimes it's the only path to growth. But loans often tie into their evergreen moneymaker, gambling. Why gambling? It's the Mafia's backbone, reliable, profitable. How do they run it? High-stakes poker in backrooms of bars, clubs, storefronts. No ads, invites spread via whispers. Discreet, yet not always foolproof. Remember that New Jersey bust? A 2-year probe netted 39 charges in a Lucchese-linked ring. What made it big? Structured like a corporation. Boss Georgie Neck Zappola at the helm. Underbosses delegating to capos, managers, hosts. Spots included Cafe San Gennaro, Italian-American soccer club, Garden State Pinball, an unnamed Garfield eatery. Raked in over $3 million. But here's the jaw-dropper. A city councilman was in on it. Who? Anand Shah, Prospect Park Borough Councilman, elected official managing poker games, overseeing offshore sportsbooks, laundered $570,000 through his Subway franchise. Why involve politicians? It shields operations, infiltrating government. Corruption runs deep. Cops and mobsters often collude. Who gambles here? Neighborhood folk seeking convenience. No trek to Atlantic City. Local delis host games. If cash-strapped loan sharks oblige, compulsive types borrow big, chase wins, rack up $100,000 plus debts. Why extend credit? Debtors become assets, fronting ops to keep mob clean. But even high rollers prefer mob over casinos. Why? Reliability. Casinos sometimes stiff winners, refusing multi-million parlays. Mob, 99% payout. Reputation is everything. Word spreads if they welch. As we wrap, ponder. Is the Mafia's code, handshakes over contracts, preferable to corporate greed? Their evolution from violence to subtlety keeps them relevant, but what if their next move hits closer to home? For more on betrayals that shook empires, check my recent video on a CIA double agent who fooled everyone. And thanks to Delete Me, grab that link for data protection. The Mafia isn't gone, it's just evolved, hiding behind espresso machines and neighborhood smiles. From secret poker rooms to corrupt officials, its influence still runs through the veins of New York in ways most people never notice. But as power shifts from the streets to the shadows, one question remains. How close are you to it without even knowing? Tell us what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that peel back the layers of hidden power. Until next time, stay curious, stay alert, and remember, not everything is as innocent as it seems.